For Asante Houghton, random police checks were anything but arbitrary. He feels police have singled him out since the age of 13 because of his race.
It was something that would often happen to me when I was walking to and from school, that sort of thing. Sometimes outside my house where I was growing up, I'd be stopped by officers. They'd ask, what are you doing here? Who are you, your name, and they'd be very confrontational.
That's why in 2016, Ontario brought in regulations that all but banned carding.
Street checks were seen to be a manifestation of racial profiling.
Today, the Ontario Appeal Court judge assigned to review the regulations said they are unnecessarily confusing, but ending carding was the right thing to do.
I found that random carding had a very minimal role in detecting or deterring offenders or reducing crime.
Tulloch says he's heard people try to make a link between the ban on random police checks and last year's spike in Toronto's murder rate. He says the facts don't support that.
In 2017, the first year that the regulation was in force, Ontario had the second largest decline in homicides among the provinces in Canada.
Tulloch says there's still a place for properly conducted legal street checks during an investigation or if police suspect a crime is about to be committed.
Stops must be based on more than a hunch or spidey sense.
The representative of Toronto's frontline officers agrees.
I don't see any benefit to any policing process that is random and arbitrary. Street checks, however, done as an investigator in a lawful, proper way, there is a value to an investigative technique.
Still, Ontario's PC government promised to unshackle police forces from the previous government's regulations. In a statement today, it committed that any new regulations would recognize that racism and discrimination have no place in policing. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
Ontario isn't the only province moving to address carding. Saskatchewan police adopted rules preventing what it calls contact interviews last year. Nova Scotia has introduced legislation to ban the practice. BC is also expected to adopt new standards this year. Edmonton Police released a 300-page report last year, but Alberta hasn't adopted changes so far.